Hey guys, welcome back to the Pure Goddess channel. My name is Gwenly. I hope everyone's doing well. Happy Tuesday. I am recording in my car today. The little one's taking a nap. We were on our way to the store after running a short few errands, and he decided to take a nap. I was basically talking to myself. Said like mid-sentence, and then I finished. When I started speaking, it's like he's awake, and then by the time I finish a sentence, oh Lord. Yeah. Okay, we'll see if that sticks. So I moved my little phone stand, and then it's not wanting to stick, and I don't have water with me to like make it stick. It's one of those like, yeah. So hopefully the phone doesn't fall. Yeah, so by the time I finished my sentence, he was sleeping. And we always make it to the parking lot. It's like we're 5 minutes away, and he falls asleep, so now we gotta wait. You know, so that just gives me time to record a video. You know, we'll see how, oops. We'll see how this goes. Oh, I did not come prepared, but I did pass to the Dollar Tree. I needed to get some cleaning supplies, and so I'm always on a budget, right? But that doesn't mean we gotta be like looking bad. And even if I'm rich or I'm poor or I'm struggling or I'm like fine, you know, like I could pay my monthly bills and like, you know, have more stability, I'm still going to go to like the clearance and sale aisles or areas, because we gotta live smart, and you know, but sometimes it's okay to splurge, you know. I have a balance, you know, I have more gratitude in life and more grateful for the things I have. So that is why I do that. And just because something costs more doesn't mean it's better. You know, yeah, it just depends with like brandings, and it depends, you know, with like food and things like that. Obviously, we can't really be on the cheap end so much, because healthy food is more pricey. Yeah, so let's get back to, I found, so the prayer cards that I use are, you know, the other prayer cards I have at home are from the Dollar Tree, from the dollar store, and then I found two more. There's a total of like 3 different ones. So this includes 20 prayer and scripture cards. And these are like, the pack of like 20 is like $1.50. Come on. So that's so cool. This is one of like my it's like, when you know that you're gonna make it. But my ultimate goal, inspiration, like dream overall with the little projects or accomplishments I want to have, or little businesses or whatever, right? The whole point of all that I want to do is to like sell to people who don't gotta like spend so much, like create in different ways. I have a lot of ways, but also like healthy and organic and non-toxic, like products that I'm really interested in. But also, have it be sold and look cute, like look appropriate, and like you don't have to spend so much to like, I used to be very, very materialistic because that's how I grew up. That's how I was taught, by my parents, like by my family, my aunts, my uncles. And then they passed it down to, my cousins and stuff. Like, you gotta have brand this and brand that. And like, that means you made it, And it's like, but are you happy inside? Because you're like empty, Or I'm a psychologist, and like, good for you, because that takes hard work. You're a doctor. But are you happy within? Does your work fulfill you? That's what, like, you gotta get to like the authenticity, like the real deal, Are you truly happy, or you're just doing it for clout or for attention, for, like, oh, my parents are like proud of me. But I'm like, so it's just not my thing, so I hate it, Doesn't matter if you're getting paid a bunch. It's not worth it, It kills your soul slowly. Just like buying a house. I'm like, I don't think I ever want to do that unless it's in another country, because I can't do it here in the US. Buy land and like property in another country, and yeah, and it's cheaper too. So yeah, I have a lot of goals, and it's all, generally speaking, is all for like humanity, for the people, for what's best for them, for their well-being, it's like, if you're into like properties, if you're into like construction and like building properties and homes and apartments and things like that, for the people that need it, for, and it's not just like, oh, for people that are like in poverty or low income or whatever, but it's for like orphanages, charities, not charities, having a charity, like to help people that don't have anything, like to really help, like truly help, not just, you know, truly help, the battered woman, truly like everyone, and that's the goal. I was watching a video on YouTube a few weeks ago, and this this couple, they build buildings, or like they build like homes and they want to have those doors open for them to help others. You know, and yeah, everything costs money, and like, you know, obviously there's so many things that gotta come in, you know, different contacts and all that. But yeah, you know, like God has put that, engraved that into them, that dream to do that for others, you know, and they have the tools, the experience, like they know how to, right? In order to do it. So that's what excuse me. That's what the type of stuff I want to do. You know, it could be products, it could be things to sell at the store. You know, and it's crazy how creative we can get, you know, the things that the Lord, and you know, gives us, like visions, downloads, dreams to create, to do, to build. Wow, it's really windy. It's really windy over here. But so yeah, for example, this is this one, which is really cute, and it's like obviously create things that have to do with like the Lord Jesus Christ, faith, you know, but in like fun ways, you know, in ways that that are easy and simple, you know. Like I used to be so intimidated by like the Bible and like that, you know, the spirit of religion, like from family, you know, like so intimidating, like by the church, and like they made it to be like, oh my God, if you sin, like not even like a big sin, but like a sin, like a small thing, like you lie, or like you're not like truthful, or something, like you feel just shunned, you know, from like church, or like something I detest. That's why I don't like going to church, because they make the los pastores, the pastors, people of the church that play a part, you know, in like the service in church mass, they make them to be like idols when they're not. So those people are already lost, a lot of them that make it to be like, oh my God, you know, like no, you know. And it's just, I see beyond, and I see like a lot of things, and it's just irritating. It's like I understand why, but a lot of people are just misled, you know, because of religion. Because they're so worried about we have to be right and correct and like righteous and like perfect and look like we're like pure and like we do nothing bad. But you leave church and then you're doing all this like you're sinning and you're doing worse and you're gossiping and like, no, that's how I grew up. And it's like, it's so irritating. It's like, you know, and that's just normal for society. You know, every church has their own thing, you know. Some are more stricter, especially, you know, I don't know their church name, but like people who are like Russian or Romanian, who are more like discipline with, you know, how they dress and the things they have to follow at their church, and like Mormons too. That doesn't mean that doesn't make them, you know, and I just don't get it. Like, the story, like, I just started learning this, you know, the good gospel, or like, you know, the story of Jesus Christ, like to accept him, you know, and to know his story and how he died for us and all, you know, like, how does that have to do with being perfect? Like, in the ways like, oh, people see me like this, and like, you know, like how the world is supposed to perceive you. Like, I get it, but I don't, because the heart is what God sees. That's what he is judging on our hearts. So why are people more concerned in the opposite things? And like how to be in front of others, you know, like at church, for example. But like outside of church, I went to school with a lot of Romanian girls, and then a few months ago I went to like this trampoline jumping place for kids, and I took my son. And since he's a toddler, he's in like the area for smaller kids. It's you know, like more close and more private, and because they will run away. And the other areas are bigger, and it's for bigger kids. And there's too many of them running around everywhere. It's really chaotic for me. Just like Costco. But a bunch of them were there, you know, girls that I went to, and you know, the way they dress and everything is like they're religious, right? But they hate their lives. They're unhappy. They're like, when I went there, I could feel the spirits in them, you know? It's like the spirit of this and that, and I'm just like, you guys look like, you know, like just shitty. Like, you're not happy, you're unfulfilled, like you're just following like culturally what your family is saying and this and that, but it has nothing to do with like, you know, a lot is just like how others are gonna see us. We gotta be righteous, we gotta act like this and like that, but then they're gossiping and talking like just hateful spirits and just like, you know, disgusting attitudes. It's like, that does not make you better than me, you know? And you know, they tend to dress like with like branded, you know, brands and stuff, so that in like good cars, or you know, that just makes them like, oh, they're better than people who look normal, you know, who are close, you know, I can't judge like, oh, I'm closer to God, or like this, like everyone has their personal journey, but people prioritize things like that more than actually having a deep relationship with the Lord, you know. And you could tell a lot of people, you know, God's people could tell if it's authentic or not, you know. Like, are you really? Or, and then there's families that think that they're better than you and they have power, because a lot of their family members, a lot of their sisters are married to pastors, who preach, you know, in like Hispanic Christian churches or whatever, and they think that they like could do whatever they want, and it's very toxic. Like, I was dating for like 5 seconds dating this guy, and his family, you know, a lot of the sisters, you know, they're in the church, and the sisters are married to, most of them are married to pastors who are like from Puerto Rico or, you know, other countries. And they think that they're all, you know, the shit and all this and that, like better than you, like more holy. And it's like, only if you knew, only if you knew. But you want to judge and you want to say like, I'm better than you. Okay. Well, you guys are going to see the truth very soon, but that's how they act. And then this person, after like I ended up cutting it off with him because his intentions were not good. It's like it's like just very toxic intentions. And I started seeing the mask fall off. And I'm like, okay, no, like, you know, it's like people who think they rule like the town and stuff. And I started seeing this, and literally 3 days later, or within that week, he sent people to my house who, like, you know, people that go from house to house from like the church to like tell you about the Lord, to tell you about Jesus Christ, to read the Bible to you and bring you to their church to go for mass, you know. And at that time I had my camera on my door, you know, for security reasons. And I used to be terrified of living alone. And you know, it was two males, you know, and I know the energy, the vibes, it's like intimidation, you know, like the spirits are in them, within them, intimidation, and like they want to like put you down a few notches, a few steps, you know, like they want to humble you. It's like I never opened, but I could see them through the camera, you know, and I'm like, I'm not gonna answer the door. Like, you know, they're all from like the same country or like state in Mexico. And I was just like, you know, the audacity. Like, I know God is all seeing, all knowing, but like the way they use is really, really, like, that's a sin, you know. But, and obviously this person, you know, moved on quickly. And, you know, it's like people just use each other, basically. It's like, oh, you're gonna give me this, I give you this. Like this, like this. If not, I don't want. You know, if not, I don't want nothing to do with you. You don't serve me. I'm better than you because my family is like in the church, and like we're more righteous and like more holy, and like, you know. And it's just like, okay, like, well, you're delusional, and I'm just going to go my own way, because there's no point in like getting like petty or anything, you know. Like, God is all seeing, all knowing. What else do I tell you, you know? I don't know what else to say, honestly, but that's how people are, and it's just irritating. But this is another one. This one is, it just says the same thing. Includes 20 prayer and scripture cards. It doesn't say anything, like, it's just like random, you know, scripture. So honestly, I don't know if it's just like, you know, the design and like the art and stuff. Or does every like flashcard box repeat? Like, is it all this? I don't think it's all the same. Okay, so let me read two for today. This is Proverbs 12:20. Those who promote, peace have joy. Proverbs 12:20. And then the next one is, I've never heard this. Titus 3:4-5. When the kindness and love of God, our Savior, appeared, He saved us. When the kindness and love of God, our Savior, appeared, He saved us. Okay, one more. Excuse me. Psalms 119:77. Let your compassion come to me, that I may live, for your law is my delight. Okay. So yeah, you guys, there's lots of bullies in this world. Lots of bullies. I've always been bullied. I've gone through a lot of adversities. And the most recent one has been with like the community I told you guys about, the Cuban community. And that's that. I mean, I didn't really give a crap. I went through a lot of warfare, but it was for a reason, for training purposes only. You know? But yeah. Oh Lord. Yesterday as well, I forgot. I was so tired last night recording, but yesterday I get to the laundromat with my son, and I see, there's a lady, a mother with, her child, probably around 8 or 9 years old, the boy, and they're just outside of the laundromat. And I go make sure it's open because it was a holiday and post office was closed, so I'm like, I don't know if they're open. So I go check, before I get my son off the car, and I just bring up conversation with her, like, oh, and I just need to make sure it's open, like it's a holiday, and we just started talking, and yeah, so I get my bag of laundry and my son down, and she said, she had seen me like go back to my car, and she saw my hair, like it's really long. And I don't do much to my hair at all. But like I don't use like hair tools at all, so unless I'm like drying my hair, I use like the round brush or whatever, but I don't use like hair tools to like damage my hair. Perhaps that's why it's long, I don't know. But she's like, oh, I'm so envious, like we are coming back with like our stuff, walking towards the door of the laundromat, and she's like, oh my god, your hair's so long, I'm so envious. And I'm like, why did you use that word? It's happened to me before where I've said that like a few years ago, I was going through like heavy spiritual warfare, and I didn't know how else to like. It's like I had like rage and like revenge in my heart, you know, like excuse me. I wasn't I wanted revenge because I have gone through a lot, and it's like, God, I like these people need to pay, you know? Like just a lot of like hatred in my heart, you know, like, and it's like fair to feel this way. Not that I was gonna do anything, but I just had a lot of like darkness in my heart. Like, I want revenge for these people. When are they gonna get their karma, you know? Like, just a lot of like rage in my heart, you know? And I said that word once, but I didn't mean it like that. It was just where my heart was at. You know, I didn't mean it like, oh my God, I think I mentioned, I'm like, you know, like, I don't remember exactly why I said the word envious. Like, I admired this person. I said the word because I was very, very upset with myself, very angry. Like, I know I'm capable of getting there, of achieving things. Like, you know, if it has to do with material, I just being at a different level. But because I was just so fed up and like with spiritual warfare and like attacks and like always being like thrown, you know, thrown down, like always like attacks, you know. I was just so tired. I'm like, it's just not fair. It's not fair, you know. So that is why I said like I'm envious. I don't know what, like, how I used it in the sentence, but overall, like, you know, you have your business, you have like a brand car, you know, and I have that vision. I have like, I know it's going to be me one day, you know, like it's just something that's within me. Like, I know it's going to happen. It's not here yet, you know, like I still need to go through some stuff, but obviously I checked myself right away. Like, I don't ever speak like that, but I was just going through a lot of like, you know, I had to do with that community I mentioned to you guys about, where they had like, you know, their brand cars and all that, and how like they would intentionally make me feel like I honestly did not give a shit, right? It's like, good for you. If you earned it, good for you. But like when people intentionally go out of their way over and over every day to like make you feel like crap, to make you feel like you're nothing because you don't have material wealth, you know, I didn't like work on letting that out at all. And it was just bottled up inside of me, you know, and it would just piss me off so bad, like, because I know the truth. I see right through people. You know, I know the black magic you're doing towards others, and that's why you have the things you have, because you're a narcissistic Jezebel witch bitch, you know? And this person tried to destiny swap, and she's still trying to do all this stuff, and just the illusions she has onto people, like, oh my God. So she would really get me upset, but I would never show it in her face, you know? It's just like, how can people be so conniving and like just disgusting? Like, I've never met a woman so disgusting like that before. in every way. And just, she was the first woman that I could like spiritually smell like sewer trash. Like as soon as I met her, as soon as um like I knew she was like in that house. She was in the backyard and I came to pick up my son and I could just a stench as soon as I came inside the house, and no one was even there. They were in the backyard. And I just smell like this reek, this disgusting smell. I'm like, what the heck? What stinks? And it was her. And I'm like, oh wow, like, ugh. When I say, oh man, people like this, they don't deserve nothing. It's just so, I don't know even to word it. It's just disgusting, disgusting. Just the audacity, you know. And I was just really bitter for a while, like just the manipulation, the amount of manipulation and lies and like rumors spread about me to a community that I didn't even know at all. Like no one barely knew me. And it was just the lies and rumors and gossip was spread, and I'm like, I didn't even know. You know, like I sensed, but I never knew. No one ever told me nothing to my face. But like that's how triggered I would make her feel, because I'm the real deal. Like I don't hide, you know, like I am me and she is the most fakest person ever. So I triggered her just by looking at her being in, you know, like me coming into like this house where they would like all, you know, come into like groups or whatever. And she would get so triggered like in a second, you know. And it's not something I could yet talk about, but yeah, very, very, very demonic, very dark and demonic. And I, and also being enraged, dealing with like a narcissist as well, and having to go through like all the lies and the embarrassment and shame. Not that I saw it before my eyes, but knowing that this narcissist ex also spread lies and rumors. So I had a lot of anger within me that I didn't know how to take it out. You know, how do I deal with this? You know, a lot of lies. Like that's the thing that just kills me. Like you can be yourself, a kind person, you're a good person, you're honest, you're truthful, but people are gonna come and fuck with you, and they're gonna like you don't even have to like poke at them or anything. They're just gonna start with their crap. It's like, damn, I've met so many people like that. I was just done, you know. And then realizing like my own fucking family, like catching my own father. No, well, it had to do with my stepdad and my ex. One playing the good guy, one playing the bad guy, one playing the helper, but my dad as well. And I was just like, I'm done. Like I so enraged, like to the point where I just want to fucking kill someone. And obviously never, I would never do that. But like people really have nothing better to do with their lives. Like wickedness, 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 dark, demonic crap. And I'm so sorry, I don't ever want to say that word again. My apologies, but that's the type of rage I used to have. And it's a deep, 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 deep betrayals I've had in my life. You know, sometimes I get tired of talking about it because it's like, it's not happening anymore because I'm not letting anyone do that crap to me. Or a lot of the times it's unknowingly. A lot of the times it's like you give people a chance and you're like, okay, well, they fucked up, so I will give him another chance. And it's like, well, we have to work on boundaries. We have to work on people's posture, how they handle things in life, and you know, who they are when they're in front of others, when people try to trigger them. You know, like, are they just gonna react? Are they, you know? And a lot of people are weak as heck. Weak. When I tell you weak, spiritually weak, and just no discipline, no obedience, like, you know, it's just, I don't want people like that. And I don't want a husband like that, who is weak in the flesh, who doesn't have obedience, discipline, who doesn't have discernment. All the people I've dated, they have no discernment at all. And it's like, what the heck am I doing here? You know, it's like, can't you see what this person is doing to you? You know, and it's like, it's just crazy. But it's just a fine line between judging and like not, you know, and you know, Lord forgive me if I overstep because of my emotions, right? It's like, I could come face to face with a fucking demon, with the devil, and I'm not afraid. I've been through the worst of the worst. I've dealt with like the darkest, most cynical demons. Like, I'm not fucking afraid. Like, all my life. You know, and this was done by this Jezebel woman, right? Who, their whole groupie, you know, like family or whatever, would make me feel like poor in like the material wealth, which I never cared for in the first place. I've never been like that. But I mean, when I was karmic, I was like, sometimes my shit don't stink type of vibes, you know, and that was just because that's how I was raised. And it's like, that's to be accepted in the family, and that's how we're gonna be, and that's how we have to be. That's who we are, you know? And it's like, in my soul and my heart, I've never wanted to be that. It's never mattered. Like, material stuff don't matter. It's nice to have it, you know? But it doesn't, you know? And you know, that those things were done to me in a time where I had to flee, I had to escape this narcissist, you know, this toxic environment. where I was not getting no help at all from this person. Even before I had my child, it's like I knew it was over, the unfaithfulness, like the times that I had to like not say anything just to, because I was carrying my child, the times that I had to keep quiet because I don't want to fight, because I'm carrying my child. I have to save the strength for my son, you know, like for me. You're so vulnerable when you're pregnant, and when I had my child, I didn't have no strength. It was really hard for me. I didn't have anything. Like everything was like drained. You know, energy vampire. Like I didn't have a lot of strength within me, honestly, like physically. And you know, I had my son like the natural way, of course. I did an epidural, which is so scary. Oh my god. But I couldn't handle, you know, the pain is bad. The pain is bad. But it could have been better. You know, I'm very, very strong person, and like if I had not been with like a narcissist who like literally took all my strength from me, my energy, everything, my willpower, you know, it would be easier to have a child, to like birth a child, but that wasn't the case. And having to do this alone as a first-time mom, not having any knowledge, you know, it's like if my mother was there, it would be like a half-ass help, you know, but I didn't have anyone, not even a friend, to come and help, you know. It had to be me by myself. Um, you know, obviously as an, you know, having a baby, you have sleepless nights. It was just me and myself living with this narcissist in the same home, but having no help. You know, this person going during, you know, before I had my son, it's like this person wasn't even home. It's like he's always at work. He's always at a friend's house. He wasn't being unfaithful, you know, with multiple people, and like me catching him and things like this, and like, you know, confronting him, and like, you know, being so emotional and crying, and like I couldn't even yell, I couldn't even fight. I was so tired. I was just so tired, and like obviously towards like 8 months you just want to rest. It's just like you're ready to pop. You're ready to have your baby, you know. And it was just a very, very toxic. I didn't have it in me, and I guess I just saved all, you know, like within me was all the anger and rage that I had that I never took out, you know, and I didn't know how to. I was busy raising a baby, you know, taking care of a baby, of trying to be the best first time mom I could be, you know, to my son in these circumstances, you know. I had to put all this aside. And that made me angry for a long time too, you know. Um and what else? And then, you know, me having to escape, like I was threatened by this person. That's the main reason why I left, because I tried to do things the right way and say, hey, you're not helping me, like that's on a real, you're not helping me, literally. Since my son was born in April of 2021. I left. I arrived here in Oregon June, the last Saturday of June of 2021. So from April to June, he never changed a diaper. He never helped me for like a second to carry my baby, because he's my baby. Yes, that's the father. But to be a real father, it's something else. It's not what he is, you know? And you know, like if I was gonna shower, or I was, you know, going to, you know, make some food or something, like he would help out when he was at home, you know? But very, 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 like the switch up after I was 6 months pregnant was drastic. Like he just straight narcissist, evil, like hateful. And you know, I had left. I got like an emergency 911 guidance from God, like emergency, like, you know, when your senses are like the little alarm light, that was my senses. Wee wee wee, and like the light and everything. Like, you need to go now. You need to leave now. Like less than 2 weeks, you need to go. And I'm like, okay. I was so scared because I tried to do things the right way. I tried to say, hey, you're not helping me at all. I need help. I don't know how to raise a child. I don't know anything. I'm doing my best, and naturally, I did know, right? And, you know, I said, I need to go. You know, I think it's better if I stay, you know, for a bit until my son gets a little bit bigger, because I need help. I go to family, you know, to my mom's house so she could help me, so she could teach me. Lord, it's windy. And he said no. He said, you can go, but my child stays here. I said, what? I didn't. What did I say? I'm like, you're threatening me right now? Are you really threatening me? And in me, in my head, I'm like, how is that possible? You never taken care of him a day in your fucking life since he was born. Day in his life, you know? And after that, I stayed quiet. I did not say a word. I was just quiet. And I don't know how many days or hours after, I got like the 911 message from the Lord, like, you need to leave right away, as soon as possible. Start planning and packing, you know. And I started contacting family, and like, obviously family was already like in the know of like what was going on and how rocky things were. And you know, they told me to go before my son was born, but I just did not have the strength within me to even travel 3.5 hours. I didn't have the strength within me. Pregnancy, it takes a lot of strength and energy. It's not easy carrying a child. And you know, I couldn't do it. You know, I'm like, I want him to see his own son be born, you know. And you know, he did. And that's all like what I wanted him. Because I knew he was not gonna do anything. He wasn't gonna help me, because he already wasn't helping me at all. There with me at all. You know, like, just abandoned me. and abandoned our child even before he was born. That's just the truth. And everyone in my family, except my father, he was on my side for a little bit, but everyone in my family, it's like they were there for me, but then they went towards this person's side, you know, because they already hate me, they don't like me, and they don't want good for me. So gaslighting, illusions, making me think like I'm the evil person when they try to help me get away from him. You know, like they helped me, my dad bought my plane ticket. My brother bought, what do you want, lady? People are weird. I stayed at a hotel with my son the day before the flight just to feel safe. That he's not gonna come after us or anything like that. So staying at a hotel, for the night before the flight, and then the next day taking the shuttle bus, a hotel close enough to the airport, and then taking that shuttle bus because I didn't have no one that was helping me. My old ex-friend, who I was friends with her for like 4.5 years or something, she was the only person. I called her even though we had not had contact for more than 1.5 years or 2 years. I called her and I'm like, hey, we have not been close, and we're distant and this and that, but I really need your help. That was the only time she gave me help. After that, she ghosted me. I would send her messages on Facebook, things like this. Never replied for months and months when I really needed her. And so she was never a friend. 1.5 years goes by, I think, and she messages me and she's like, oh, I had to find God in this excuse, right? I don't know if it's the truth or not, who knows? But yeah, that was that. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't remember what I told her, but cool for you, and God bless you. And she was a single mom. She's a single mom to a girl. I think her child's 10 maybe or 9 years old now, but she would know the fucking struggle. She would know the trauma. So I would expect her to be there for me because she would know how painful, what I'm going through, the process and everything. But no, she was not there for me. And okay, I was like, you're dead to me then. You're really dead to me. And she messaged me after I was like, okay, well, good for you, take care, and don't ever talk to me again. There's nothing here, nothing to save our friendship, and then she messaged a few months later, and I ignored it. I didn't respond back. But yeah, catching a shuttle with my baby, I had 2 suitcases, most of his things, and just my maternity clothes. Everything else I left. And obviously prioritizing. My son was 3 months. My son just turned 3 months, April, May, June. 3 months. And I bought him his special headphones for the airplane because he's so small, and I still have them. I still have them, but he was so tiny, my baby. he slept the whole, I prayed, I'm like, oh my, I really hope this child is not like crying and he's like not scared and it doesn't startle him or scare him. And he slept the whole way, thank God. And that was the only like thing that really concerned me at that point. And I made it, we made it to like the airport in Oregon, and my stepfather went to go pick us up. And yeah, I had blocked this narcissist, just from from feeling like even more like scared for my life, because for a long time, just like recently, like a year and some, or 2 years, like a year and a half, yeah, that I stopped being scared of this person. But I was scared of him for a really long time. Like, he could hurt me, he can, scared in every way. I was under his control, in a sense, going through all that. And not having my own strength, that was really, really, like, the biggest drama I've gone through. And it's been an hour. I don't know why I'm speaking about this. Oh, okay, I remember now. But whatever comes out in my videos. I know who are the people that are watching, and I think it's important for you guys to hear this, because people from his community, from his family, I know they are watching my YouTube. So I mean, it's a long story. After I got to, we got home safely to my mom's house, I could rest, and we could rest, and I had texted him, I think the next day, that I'm fine, we're safe, and that's it, and then I got a call from a police officer in Minnesota, and he had called the police and put a report on her, something like, oh, I don't know where my wife and my child is, or whatever. And it was Officer Foster or something like that. I still have I changed my phone, I don't have the voicemail anymore, but it was a voicemail that he had left the officer. I didn't pick up because it was a number from the state, and I hear the voicemail, and it's like the officer just checking up on us, making sure we're okay. Your husband, blah blah blah, is concerned and wants to know if you're all right. And I call back right away. I'm like, okay, we are not legally married, we do have a child together, and this, and we are safe. I am with my mom, like in state of Oregon, and he understood what was going on. I didn't really have to say much. He has experience. Not all police officers have that experience, but he knew right away. He says, okay, I just want to know that you are safe, and that's all. I said, as long as he knows legally, I'm not doing anything illegal, everything is fine. Okay, and that's it. And I made it to a point where, after you have a child, your community clinic where I was being attended in, my doctor, or the person like watching me from pregnancy till after, she got in communication with like the county and for someone to like help me if I want to like talk and like postpartum and everything. Postpartum is real, like going through depression and everything, you know. A lot of the times I felt like I was crazy because it's like you go through like deep depression and like unworthiness and all this stuff, and imagine on top of like postpartum like stuff that we go through. And sometimes like I felt for the, I had suicidal thought once, and that's normal when you go through when you are in postpartum. And so I was talking to someone from like the county, you know, like a resource specialist, you know. It's normal for, you know, the doctor. She knows I'm going through depression and things like that, and like she knew that I wasn't getting a lot of support at home. And so I was talking to this lady, I forgot her name, but she was really, really supportive. And I'm just like, you know, I would be more general, but tell her, like, I think it was like once a week I would FaceTime her because it was during, like, they still had COVID, like, restrictions and stuff. And so we, you know, we talked on like the camera, and she was like, you know, I told her what was really going on, and like, you know, I'm leaving and like I'm going to my mom's, and like he threatened me, and like we are like leaving because of her safety, and I'm not getting any support or help here. And so I had already like mandate reporter, you know, I had already told her what was gonna happen and what I was gonna do. So it's not nothing illegal I was doing, right? So that was already in the system. I think that is why the officer understood me. But you know, the past 2 or 3 years, I realized, like, you know, having more of a clear mind and not going through all this crap that this person was putting me through intentionally. And not even like 2 weeks later, after I arrived at my mom's house, he has his ex-wife from his country, who he has a 13-year-old daughter with. Before he came to the States, that's who he was with, and that person stayed over there with the daughter, right? And his family, his mom and whatever. And I found out that she and the daughter and my ex's brother and sister were coming here because of the Biden administration. Like, they were gonna, you know, asking for asylum or whatever, you know, because that's just what people do to get to the US. And they were coming literally not even 3 weeks after I got here, they were coming. So basically my whole life was like, materialistically and everything, like it was just taken away from me. And that was the main reason why this person was being so foul and disgusting and evil to me and abandoned me, because he had already planned all this. I didn't know. He never told me anything until after I got here, and that is why I got the warning from the Lord to get the heck out of where I was. Because imagine going through all this with this person, and then him telling me a day before all these people arrive. Because me being here, of course, they were living in my own home for more than a year. You know, wearing my clothes, doing all the, like, my stuff wasn't my stuff anymore. You know, and like, it's just material stuff, but it was really hard for me. And just being betrayed to another level as well, just on top of that. And then, you know, having this narcissist inventing and spreading lies about me and not telling the truth, of course, of why I left. Why if I escaped him, and none of his family, only his mother, to see my son. But I would message her or send her videos of my son, pictures, but I was never comfortable speaking with her, like on FaceTime, on WhatsApp. And she only speaks Spanish, but I was never comfortable because she always knew. And I was never angry at her, but because it's not her fault, it's her son. And but why would I be angry at her? But his siblings never contacted me, never texted or called to see how I am, to get to know my son or anything like that. Even though they were like literally all my material stuff, like they were taking advantage of it, and until to Christmas 2 years ago. Was it 2 Christmases ago or this past? Yeah, it was 2 years ago around Christmas time. His sister decided to text me. I'm like, okay, this number is from this state. Who is it? And they texted me, and it was like a longer message. Oh, I'm like, my son's aunt. This is Kimberly, and this and this. And like, how are you doing? How's my nephew doing? And like, she's the younger sister. And I got pissed off. I was pissed. I was like, the fuck? The audacity to wanna see how your nephew's doing, for you to contact, like, after everything, like, you chose your fucking side. Like, I don't give a shit if your brother lied to you about what had happened, but something is fishy, right? Like, the fuck are these cards doing here? The audacity of her contacting me after so long, and like living in my home and like all these things. What are people doing here? Just the audacity. Like, I was straight up with her, like, I don't want no one in my son's life who is not gonna be in his life fully. Like, you just wanna like be toxic. Like, I'm not gonna accept no one into my son's life who doesn't truthfully like love him. Like, you guys, your family chose your side and the woman, and wanted to believe all these lies. Like, there's nothing else here. There's nothing else. I don't care how big my baby gets. There's nothing, no relationship. When he is old enough to make his own decisions and he wants to have a relationship with his aunt, then that's another thing. But other than that, no. And she never texted back. And I think the mom was really, really mad and upset. Like, she had more attitude. And I texted the mom too, and I told her, like, this is the fucking truth. Like, who do you people think I am? Like, you guys cannot play with me. I don't care. Like, your brother is a fucking narcissist. He's a liar. He betrays. Like, he is foul as heck. He abandons women. He treats women like shit. And you guys still are at his feet, believing his fucking lies. Who do you guys like? Oh, I want to talk in Spanish. When I'm mad, I talk in Spanish. And I say it how it is. But you guys cannot look at me like I'm a fool after years. After years. Like, stay in your fucking lane and live your life and do what you want and stick with your family, but don't fuck with me. Don't come to my family because this is my family. I don't care if your brother is the father, this is my family because he did not want this family. And that's the truth. He abandoned us and his child before he was even born. Okay? So, what the fuck do you want? You know? And that's it. Like, they have to fucking learn. And that's what it is. Never again I was contacted by them. Like, yeah, I'm gonna put you to shame because that's your fucking brother. Because you want to believe all these lies and you guys want to live in this delusional fucking world where you yourself are treated like crap by your own family, by your own brother, betrayed and lied upon and just treated like shit. Do you understand? Like, what else? You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. Like, I needed to shatter that illusion for their family as well. Like, that shit's no longer here. I'm not gonna tolerate any of that. I'm not gonna let anyone step into our lives, especially from their family, if they don't come correct. Don't come like you're, oh, like, the next thing was gonna be, oh, my brother wasn't like honest with me about the truth about what happened. Like, no, you picked your side and you enjoyed my home and you enjoyed wearing my clothes and you guys enjoy, like, I know it because I would see pictures. You know, like, I don't speak unless it's the truth. Like, I'm not lying. You guys enjoyed my life, the home I created. Do you understand what I'm saying? So don't come to me in any way, because you guys will know who the heck Gwenly Torres is, you know? And that was that. It's like, the way I fight for my son and fight for his name and for the family that me and him is, that's it. No one else from them will be allowed in our family again. Unless the Lord, unless God says so. And that's what I tell my son. Unless the Lord, and I have like anxiety right now. Unless the Lord says it's okay for this person or that person from our past to come into our lives again, no one is allowed to even step into our energetic field. In no way. Because everyone has abandoned us. And that's how strong I have to be for my child and for my family. And that is who I am. Because no one was there at the end of the day but God. No one had my back 100% but the Lord. You know? People are weird. Really weird. Monitoring spirits everywhere. But anyways, that is my, I guess, a part of a story, because there's just so many parts to it. So imagine going through that and being like done so badly, and like being so enraged and pissed off that people are like living in my home, and people are like, all this anger and resentment I had within me. And then goes by, a year or a year and a half. It's like almost 3 years ago that I meet this Cuban family, this community, right? This family and their minions. And then this bullshit starts with the Jezebel, with this narcissist Jezebel female who has, I've never in my life met or been like in front of like an individual who has so many demons within them. Demons, legions of demons, so many, because I've never smelt disgusting scent, like demonic scent within anyone except this person. And sometimes I would get it from my ex, like after I had left, I would get it from him a little bit, but not as much as this smell. Like literally I would picture like, like in the cartoons where it's like someone farts and it's just like green smoke and like stinkiness. That's how, in like spiritually, like I saw it and I smelt it. It's weird. Thought I was crazy. And then my narcissist ex does like kitchen witch black magic shit, Oh boy. And and this female started doing witchcraft and like black voodoo and destiny swap right away, because her demons told her, you gotta destiny swap her. This person shines too bright for us. Like, she couldn't handle me being around at all. She would act out. Like, just stinked. Like, when I tell you guys, stinked from like down there too. Like, disgusting, like spiritually. And because I'm not gonna get so close to her. But crazy shit, man. And just getting attacked by her and her posse, her minions, doing like death spells and everything, and then being triggered and being like taunted, like, oh, I'm better than you because I have a Mercedes and this and that. And imagine being so down low, trying to build your foundation back up, having your own place and trying your best to like stabilize your life after going through this with like a narcissist and going through all this crap. And then on top of that, going through this and getting attacked, and like, no, it was too much. It was too much. I fell to my knees and I'm like, Lord, help me. Lord, like, I don't know what else to do. I can't do it anymore. And that's how I started praying more in my authority. I started praying against witchcraft, against all this stuff, and I've been saying those prayers for almost 3 years. Praying Psalms 91, praying like the powerful prayers over and over, like, and that's how I started walking in in my purpose, more in my path, right? Getting to know God and like trusting in Him. Oof. It's been a journey. But yeah, I think that's it for today, you guys. I have to go use the potty after when I'm in the car or wherever and I'm recording. I'm like, okay, if I have to use the bathroom, like, video is done. It's been an hour and 25 minutes. Excuse me. I love sushi. And they have like a little area here at the grocery store where they make sushi, so it's like fresher. And that's where we were meant to go about an hour and a half ago. So I'm gonna have to wake up this little boy, my sweet baby, and get going so we could go home and eat and maybe make another video or just watch a movie with my son and chill. It's around 6 p.m. over here. Yeah. And something else about me, I'm very, like, how do you say? Like, I look like normal, like, I don't have any emotions, but I do. And, like, my heart is softening again, and it's, like, opening up, and, you know? Like, don't feel fooled with, like, my face of, like, being just, like, normal, you know? Like, there's obviously deeper and stronger feelings within, and it's hard to be vulnerable, you know. I'm getting used to, like, opening my heart and, like, things like this, you know. So just wanted to mention that and to say that. Unless it's more like an intimate setting, you know, then it will be more of like opening up and things like this. But yeah, you guys have a good evening, a good day, wherever you are in this world. Take care of yourselves, keep warm, you know, stay rested up. I know it's hard sometimes getting rest with the time zones and everything. When you're so connected to an individual, that's what I've noticed. It's hard to, like, get rest sometimes, and it flip-flops. That's what I've noticed. And that's okay. It goes deep, 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 deep. So yeah. Take care and talk to you later. Talk to y'all later. Bye.